Hi everyone, my name is Theophylline Bostuka.
My name is Jennifer Lipenga.
I'm Elizabeth Baini, a research specialist at Ilifa Labantwana, an MPO in Cape Town focusing on early childhood development.
I work with the African Center for Economic Transformation in the Gender Equality Program.
And I'm with Akina Mama Africa. We're a Pan-African feminist leadership development organization.
My name is Tekla Barangwe. I'm from the Medical Professional and Allied Workers Union of Zimbabwe.
My name is Larato Shai. I'm an independent labor economist and career coach, and I'm currently working with a various sets of stakeholders. I attended this event with the Ilifa Labantwana hat and the work I've been doing with them on the South African childcare system and the broader childcare agenda in the country.
We already know the challenge on how the care economy is marginalized in physical space, and it's usually in favor of debt repayment, or it's either siloed in women group. So we would together work out like a strategy. We would develop a language, like how to better bring the issue of care or the care economy into the center, including the G20.
My interest on a personal note is an understanding of how care is an important part of the social fiber of many societies but has been subsequently ignored. There are these discussions around care, but they're not well supported from a macro fiscal perspective. So coming here is hopefully going to catalyze that conversation. So we move this discussion further, as many feminists have been doing.
The purpose of the background paper is to bring forth, alternatives, what Basani was saying, talk about strategies, how can we position care, and then also to continue the reimagining, because there's countries that have run ahead and tried various experiments. So how can we learn from them? What has worked and what can we not repeat and get to the same results faster?
What is the care economy? A definition of the care economy must begin with an interrogation of care itself. It is important to understand care before unpacking the care economy, because care is the fundamental concept on which the care economy is built. Broadly, care is the provision of support, assistance, and attention to all persons. However, care is not just a basic human need. It is also essential for human development, well-being, and survival. Due to its expansive and encompassing nature, care is described as a capacious and polysemic term, as it denotes a range of activities and dispositions which signal ethical commitments, everyday tasks, labor, both paid and unpaid, personal responsibilities, as well as practical interventions in public and social policy.
I think care is a really important area of work and deserves to have the national platform to be able to advance women's rights and children's well-being.
Our work really looks into dismantling systems and structures of oppression and pushing for feminist alternatives to be seen as practical, sustainable development strategies. And so care is really at the center of the work that we do, specifically public financing for care infrastructure.
One of our big mission at Asset is economic transformation in a generation. And in the last few years, we found that gender equality and care work is really foundational to meeting this goal.
The benefits of care to the development of a country. Because when you're looking at the development index, those also show what you should prioritize.
Okay, so
right.
Care is very broad. It's like multifaceted, right? And it involves different role players. That's why we're trying to tweak the language a little bit, right? To be more inclusive, especially if we address the childcare crisis, we are also addressing gender inequality at the same time, because it's a twin problem.
Okay, so which group would like to go first? I think the group that enjoyed the sunshine the most to bring us enlighten us on your conversation.
For us to also think about a more macho hectic word to replace care, because I don't think they take it seriously. It's seen as a soft extra thing, right? But whenever you are thinking about economic development or national development, you will hear the word infrastructure like a million times. But care will be, they just put it there as an extra. And I don't know what word can replace care to make it sound strong and serious and as critical as infrastructure or like debt services or something. We need to replace the thinking around it.
So much of care work is kind of quote unquote invisible in the papers and in the policy and in the structures. And the more that we can have caregivers in the room at these things, not as an exception, but as the default, to bring them in the room, because it helps us to know that people are right there, and what are we saying and what are they hearing and what are we not thinking of that they would think of.
How do we leverage this moment? I think there's also a need for reflection around how the global becomes the national or the regional, and what are the possibilities. I mean, if we take from Brazil last year, there was mention of a national care strategy at the G20 level, of which they have now been able to embed at a national level. So I suppose, how do we distill that lesson? It could be quite interesting. I think they've managed to bring down some of these commitments to a national level, which I think is quite impressive.
When things are being renegotiated, we have to be in the negotiations. Or else, as people will say, fools rush in. That's when the right wing will come and we are like, yeah, we don't know what the G20. Meanwhile, the agenda is taken up and all we're trying to do is undo every time. And so I think always staying with that, what are the renegotiations that are happening? G20 is not the be-all and end-all of anything, but it's here with us, and so what do we want to do with this space?
The invitation was quite an inciting one, and it has just opened our eyes that as the workers, as the trade unionists, we really need to fight for the care work. We need to fight for the national policies regarding the care work. Going back to Zimbabwe, we are going to advocate for the national policies regarding health.
I really enjoyed sitting in a space, which this workshop was today, that was really held by a strong feminist, that was grounded in feminist ideology. And what I'm really taking away is that there is actually a shared understanding around care as an economic priority.
So coming into this space and being with people from different sectors and seeing how we can really push back on the dominant narratives around care. We're seeing a lot that is being pushed in terms of public investors coming in to support care work or care infrastructure. But what we're really saying is that we need to push back on that. Care needs to be publicly funded, especially care infrastructure.
One of my main learnings today has been that, sometimes we always put, economics and social work in different boxes. But the truth is these two things really come together to create the economies and the societies that we want to see. Economies where people are well taken care of and are able to contribute to their highest capacities.
We're just going to reflect for the next 6 minutes on one, in the blue sticky note, what are the spaces we should pay attention to that you think are important? And I think we can also talk about global spaces, but regional spaces, the SADC, there are so many summits. So feel free with this, we'll find a way to map it, and we'll put it at the back of the room. And then on the yellow piece of paper is what actors should we think about? Sticky notes.
Our hope is that we can continue to collaborate and come up with this strong, unified voice when it comes to care financing, and I think this is a great starting point for that.
It was a privilege to be invited by IEJ to participate in this workshop, to learn what others are focusing on and learn strategies to obviously sharpen our advocacy and our work on early childhood development and how to improve well-being for children and their caregivers in general.
Today was absolutely amazing to be in a room with so many very knowledgeable people who know a lot about care work and what it means, not just for our economy, but for social cohesion and just social transformation as a whole. So the main thing I'm taking away today is that we are a team. We all come at care in different ways, and all our views are important. And it's been really wonderful to learn today from everyone and to contribute as well. Thank you.